Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Agnanatimirandasya Gnananjanachalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna. So we're reading from today Chaitanya Bhagavata. Yesterday we read from Chaitanya Charitamrita, external reasons and confidential reasons for appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So today we're going to hear about the actual appearance itself. I'm thinking I may skip the Bengali today because actually I want to finish this today. So there are quite a few verses. So let's see.
Oh, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Bro, I still couldn't fully understand the technical meaning of Abhimana. I think
Okay, we'll
you,
do at the end.
yeah.
We'll discuss at the end. Okay. Uh, okay, so we're going to be starting from text 27 from Sri Chaitanya Bhagavata, chapter 2.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
One more time, Prabhu. Swakiya and Parkiya.
Okay.
It was
Okay.
little
All
bouncer
questions
for
we'll
me.
answer at the end. Okay. 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 In Kali Yuga, the Lord incarnates with his associates to maintain the religious principle of Sankirtana. On the order of the Lord, all of his associates took birth in human society. So just like when Krishna appears, before Krishna appears, so when Bhudevi along with Brahma, everybody went to Kshirotakashai Vishnu praying for relief. Then Brahma heard Kshirotakashai Vishnu saying that Krishna is going to appear and that all the demigods should first take birth in different Yadu families, etc. So, before he appeared, Krishna appeared, Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda, Vasudeva, Devaki, all of them appeared, right? Then Sandipani Muni, Garga Muni, etc. All devotees who are required for his Lila, they all appeared first, and then the Lord appeared. So similarly here, before the Lord made his appearance, all his associates took birth. So there are two books called Gaura Ganodesha Deepika and Radha Krishna Ganodesha Deepika, which actually describe who is who in Radha Krishna Lila and Chaitanya Lila. Like I was saying yesterday, so devotees in Chaitanya Lila also have a role to play in Krishna's Lila. So they will have two forms, and who they are and what their names are, etc. All that is available in those two books. Some other time we will read that. So basically here it's saying that all the associates took birth in human society. Who all took birth? Very interesting. Ananta Shesha, Shiva, Brahma, various sages, and the associates of all the Lord's previous incarnations all took birth as great devotees. So specifically Krishna, Lord's appearance as Krishna, and devote associates from there, and also Ananta Shesh, Shiva, Brahma, and various sages took birth. Only Krishna, Gaura, knew which associate took birth as which devotee, because there were so many of them. That only Gaura, Krishna knew that who had appeared where and in what, as whom. So now devotees took birth in various places. So this verse now describes all those various places where devotees took birth. So some took birth in Navadvipa, some in Chattagrama, some in Radha Desha, some in Orissa, some in Srihatta, and some in the west. Now among our devotees on the in the session today, Madhusmita Mataji is appeared in Orissa, like that. So different devotees appeared in different places. Navadvipa, yeah, I don't know where these are actually located. Chattagrama is a village. They're all in and around Bengal and Bangladesh, I would assume. Some in Radha Desha. Now, Radha Desha is western side of Ganges, right? As in, it's actually called a region where Ganges doesn't flow. That is called Radha Desha. Orissa, we know, Srihatta. And some also appeared in the west. Although the devotees appeared in different places, they all gathered in Navadvipa. So this will again come to later. Vrindavan Das Thakur is going to repeat some of these later. Most of the Vaishnavas took birth in Navadvipa, and some beloved associates appeared elsewhere, like in those other places we discussed. Now, there are names of few of the devotees that are being mentioned here. Srivas Pandit, Sriram Pandit. One second, there's disturbance here. Srivas Pandits, Sriram Pandit and Sri Chandrasekhar are worshipped throughout the three worlds. So Srivas Pandit had three other brothers. And then Sri Chandrasekhara was Lord's uncle. So like this, then next verse is talking about along with Sri Murari Gupta, who cures the living entities of their material disease. So Murari Gupta was a physician. They all took birth in Srihatta. So some of these devotees took birth in Srihatta. Srivas Pandit and others took birth in Navadvip. Pundarika Vidyanidhi, the topmost Vaishnava, Chaitanya Vallabha and Vasudeva Datta all appeared in Chattagrama. Haridas Thakur appeared in the village of Budan. The Supreme Lord Nityananda Prabhu appeared in the village of Ekachakra in Radha Desha. Paramananda Puri, who enjoyed pastimes with the Lord in Nilachala, appeared at Trihuta. The banks of the Ganges are most sanctified. Now, many of these places that are being where the devotees appeared, they are not in holy places. They are not in Tirtha Kshetras. Now, so here the question is being asked, the banks of the Ganges are most sanctified because they're mostly talking about, that part of the country where the Ganges flows. So question is being asked, banks of the Ganges are most sanctified. Why then would a Vaishnava take birth in any impious place? Because now these Vaishnavas are taking birth in, have taken birth in different places which are not pious. The Lord appeared on the bank of Ganges. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appears on the bank of Ganges in Navadvip. So why did his associates appear in distant places? So this is an important question. The answer is very relevant for all of us. Out of compassion, Lord Krishna ordered his great devotees to appear in places where the Ganges does not flow, where the holy names are not chanted, and where the Pandavas did not visit. So three criteria are being given for a holy place here in this context. Ganges does not flow, holy names are not chanted, Pandavas did not visit. So these places are not considered holy, but out of compassion, Lord Krishna ordered his great devotees to appear in these places. Sri Chaitanya descended to deliver the entire universe. He has confirmed this with his own words. The Lord and his associates who are equal to him appear at impious places and in impious families to deliver everyone. So the reason they appeared in various places, unknown impious places, was to deliver everyone. And even today we see this, after Srila Prabhupada started the movement in the West and then it spread all over the world. I mean, where devotees, unheard of places, devotees are there, then appear, then they make other people devotees, and the movement is just spreading and spreading, because this is 10,000 years of golden age. So even today this is going on. Even today Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Lila is going on, and various devotees are appearing in different parts of the world. Why? To deliver everyone. So this is the message for all of us, right? Wherever we are, whatever we might be in one street, there are other people who are in the street who require Krishna consciousness, and we should make ourselves available to in the service of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. See, if we want to, it's very simple. Okay, one very easy connection I'll make, which should hopefully motivate all of you to try and preach. Like I was saying yesterday, if we want to get mercy of Radha and Krishna, we have to get mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. How do we get mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? By doing Yare Dekho Tare Kaho Krishna Upadesh. So if we preach, then we will get Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. By Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, we will get mercy of Radha Krishna. So we can decide whether we want this mercy or not. If we want the mercy, then Yare Dekho Tare Kaho Krishna Upadesh. Then we should try and share the message with as many people as possible. In whatever place or family a Vaishnava appears, people for hundreds of thousands of miles around are all delivered. In whatever place. So that should be the impact. If we are in the moment, then people for hundreds of thousands of miles around should be delivered. Now we might not all be immediately empowered with this strength or power, but more and more we desire, the more and more mercy will flow. But we have to desire. But if we decide saying that no, it's okay, let me make progress myself, that's enough. We have been in the movement for some time, and we are still not preaching. That means that we've actually, unfortunately, not made much progress. Personal sadhana is just, in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement, this is not greatly regarded, in the sense, if somebody doesn't have the ability to preach at all, to speak at all, to communicate at all, which I see in some of our devotees in the Kannada groups, they might not be able to do, but none of the devotees here on this session belong to this category. Everybody here has the ability to preach. And when we don't use our ability, but restrain it, that is selfishness, or it's just not first class service. First class service is to use whatever Krishna has given in his service. If Krishna has given us some ability, then we should use. It's very important. Please try and pass on the message in whatever little or big way that we can. We should do this. Wherever the Vaishnavas go, that place becomes a sanctified place of pilgrimage. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya had his devotees appear in all different countries. Like two of our devotees, Shiv Shankar Prabhu, Amit Prabhu, Anu Prabhu, they had gone to a remote village near Gulbarga for a program last Sunday. That is how we can pass on the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to people who have no idea, who heard the Mahamantra for the first time maybe. We have to spread the movement. Although the devotees appeared in various places, they all met together in Navadvipa. That is because the Lord would appear in Navadvipa, so the devotees all gathered there. There is no place in the three worlds like Navadvipa where Lord Sri Chaitanya appeared. Knowing that the Lord would appear, Providence arranged all prosperity and opulence in advance. Who can describe the opulences of Navadvipa? 100,000 people would take bath at one bathing ghata. While we might not consider this as a great opulence, but on on the bank of the Ganges, if 1,000 people, can actually take bath at once, that's a lot of that's opulence. That's a lot of that's arrangement for devotees. By the merciful glance of Saraswati, the goddess of learning, hundreds of thousands of children, youth and old people were expert in the scriptures. Okay, Veera Prabhu is saying he's not able to hear. Is anybody else having the problem? Or video is stuck, he's saying. Okay, resume now. Okay, so by the merciful glance of Saraswati, yeah. Okay. By the merciful glance of Saraswati, the goddess of learning, hundreds of thousands of children, youth and old people were expert in the scriptures. So this was the speciality of Navadvipa. In Navadvipa, everybody is practically, literally a scholar. Because of the merciful glance of Saraswati, Vrindavan Das Thakur is saying here. And they are all expert in scriptures. Now let's see what kind of expertise they had. They were all proud of being scholars. Even a young boy would challenge his teacher. This is pride. This pride is not good. That there is no respect for their own teachers. They were so proud. Many people came from various provinces to study in Navadvipa because by studying there, one achieved a taste for education. So it was high class. It was high class, but it will also resulted in people becoming arrogant. And this we see many people who come out of IITs and all these big institutes of the world, they become arrogant. While the education system might be very nice, etc., but it makes people arrogant. Therefore, no one could count the innumerable students and millions of teachers gathered there. By the merciful glance of Rama, the goddess of fortune, everyone lived happily there, but they wasted their time in mundane activities. So this was the problem in Navadvip. And this is the problem even today in this material world, but this was the problem even before Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. And this was the reason why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared, right? And which we will hear now. But they wasted their time in mundane activities, material activities. The whole universe was devoid of devotion to Krishna and Balaram, and future symptoms of the age of Kali became manifest in the beginning of the age. People's religion, what did people do as religion? People's religion consisted of fruitive activities, karma khanda, and they would stay awake through the night chanting prayers to Mangala Chandi, goddess Durga. Some people proudly worshipped Vishahari, the goddess of snakes, and others spent great wealth on idol worship. People squandered money on the marriages of their sons and daughters. In this way, they wasted their human lives. I mean, we can see the parallel today. Kali Yuga people are simply wasting their lives, doing pretty much very similar things. Demigod worship, wasting money on marriages, celebrations, etc. And in addition, more frivolous, right? There at least it was karma kanda. Now it is vikarma. It is actions which are not approved. Pretty much unacceptable actions because they have no support in the Vedas. All these things that people are engaged in today's world. So pretty much people are wasting their lives. Even today, people were wasting their lives then as well. Even the so-called scholars belonging to either Bhattacharyas, Chakravartis, and Mishras, they did not know the real purport of the scriptures. So it's not enough if somebody knows Sanskrit, if somebody has read the scriptures, they have to know the real purport. And that is why we are all so fortunate that we are, I mean, at least I can talk about myself, far from being any kind of scholar, right? We know of, really scholars as in they'll only speak in Sanskrit. Before they speak, they quote, and they read various scriptures. And we are nothing in front of anybody, but we are all so fortunate that we have got the purport. Srila Prabhupada's mercy, we've got the purport of all these scriptures. So we don't have to really worry about studying all these scriptures in detail because we've got the essence. Of course, we still read. Yesterday, Amit Prabhu and myself were discussing Gnana. We need Gnana. We need knowledge about Krishna. We don't need knowledge about anything else not connected to Krishna. So Bhagavatam is enough for us. Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. And even after teaching the scriptures, the teachers still engaged in such activities. So this is not approved by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Teachers are teaching, but they are themselves engaged in material activities. As a result, both teachers and students were punished by Yamaraj. They never explained the religious principle for the age, chanting the holy names of the Lord. They only found faults with others. They never glorified anyone. So some of the faults of Kali Yuga. Normally, people have big reluctance to appreciate somebody. We are ready to find faults in somebody, but we don't appreciate. So, and this is something which is a feature of Kali Yuga, unfortunately. All the so-called renunciates and ascetics never chanted the names of Hari. I mean, it's not that it's only today, it was there, prevalent. Only the most pious people would recite the names of Punarikaksha and Govinda at the time of taking bath. Seeing the entire world illusioned by the Lord's external energy in this way, all the devotees felt unlimited distress. Now there's going to be description about the distress devotees felt. They thought, how will these people be delivered? The whole world is simply absorbed in material enjoyment. People don't chant the names of Krishna even if they are instructed. Rather, they constantly glorify their education and good birth. The great devotees, however, followed their prescribed duties like worshipping Krishna, bathing in the Ganges, and discussing topics of Krishna. They all bestowed their blessings on the people of the world and prayed, "Oh Krishna Chandra, please quickly bestow mercy on these people." So we also should pray. We also should pray that Krishna quickly bestows, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu quickly bestows mercy on all the people of the world. Residing in Navadvipa at the time was Advaita Acharya, the topmost Vaishnava, who is glorified throughout the world. Sri Advaita Acharya was the most respected teacher. He was as expert as Lord Shiva in explaining the devotional service of Lord Krishna with knowledge and renunciation. So one who is engaged in bhakti should have knowledge and renunciation. Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayajitaha Janeti Ashu Vairakyam Gnanam Chaya Dahitukam. So if somebody has not developed knowledge and renunciation, that means that they are not properly engaged. Something wrong in their practice. He explained all the scriptures that are found in the three worlds and concluded that devotional service to the lotus feet of Krishna is the essence of all teachings. Sri Advaita Acharya would enthusiastically worship Krishna with Tulasi Manjaris and Ganges water. He loudly called for Krishna in great spiritual ecstasy. That sound vibration pierced the covering of the universe and was heard in the Vaikuntha planets. This is how we should pray. When we chant the holy name, this is how it should be. It should pierce through the coverings of this material world and go to Vaikuntha and Goloka. So Advaita Acharya was so enthusiastically worshipping. Even in Chaitanya Charitamrita, we hear this, aged person externally, but he used to engage in dancing for hours with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. And always enthusiastic to preach, to worship Krishna. On hearing Advaita Prabhu's cries of love, Lord Krishna personally appeared, for he is controlled by the love of his devotees. So we will discuss this again later. Therefore, Advaita Acharya is the best of all Vaishnavas. There is no comparison to his devotional service in the entire universe. In this way, Advaita Acharya resided in Nadia in great distress due to the people's lack of devotion. So all the devotees were feeling very bad. Everyone in the entire world was engaged in materialistic activities. No one was engaged in worshipping or serving Krishna. Some worshipped Chandi, Durga with various ingredients, and some worshipped Yakshas with meat and wine. People would constantly dance, sing, and play musical instruments in a great commotion, but they never heard the supremely auspicious names of Krishna. The devotees headed by Advaita Acharya were distressed upon seeing the people engage in so-called auspicious activities not related to Krishna. They were all so-called auspicious because they were engaged in all this, but no Krishna anywhere. By nature, the heart of Advaita Acharya was full of compassion, so he mercifully contemplated how to deliver the living entities. If my Lord descends, then all these fallen souls would be delivered. My name, Advaita Simha, will be justified when I cause the descent of the beloved Lord of Vaikuntha. I will make the Lord of Vaikuntha appear in this world, and we will dance, chant, and thus deliver the fallen living entities. With this determination, Advaita Acharya constantly served the lotus feet of Sri Krishna Chandra with a fixed mind. Lord Chaitanya repeatedly confirmed that he incarnated due to the desire of Sri Advaita Prabhu. Srivas Pandit resided in Navadvip. Lord Chaitanya enjoyed many pastimes in his house. Shiva's Pandit and his three brothers continually chanted the names of Krishna. They would take 3 baths daily in the Ganga and then worship Lord Krishna. So the 4 brothers, Shiva, Sriram, Shripati, and Srinidhi. Many other devotees lived incognito in Nadia by the will of the Lord. Sri Chandrasekhara, Jagadisha, Gopinatha, Shriman Pandita, Murari Gupta, Sri Garuda Pandita, and Gangadasa all took birth before the Lord appeared. If I listed the names of all the devotees, this book could increase in size. So I will mention those names that I know at the appropriate time. All these devotees were engaged in their prescribed duties. They were all magnanimous, and they knew nothing other than the devotional service of Lord Krishna. They all had friendly relationships with one another, although they were unaware of one another's identity. The hearts of these devotees burned on seeing the people of the world devoid of devotion to Lord Vishnu. Because they could not find anyone interested in hearing topics of Lord Krishna, they would engage in kirtan by themselves. They would remain together for a couple of hours in the house of Advaita Prabhu and mitigate their distress with topics of Krishna. The devotees felt that the entire world was burning, and they felt sorry because they could not find anyone to speak with. Sri Advaita Acharya, along with other Vaishnavas, tried to preach to the people, but the people could not understand anything. They could not understand. They just could not understand because they were so lost. In distress, Advaita Acharya began to fast, and the Vaishnavas sighed deeply. Just see the compassion, the amount of compassion that these devotees had. They just couldn't tolerate this. They just couldn't tolerate lack of Krishna consciousness in the world. People did not know why the devotees danced for Krishna or chanted his names. They could not understand who was a Vaishnava or what the purpose of Sankirtana was. People could not understand any of these things because their hearts were filled with desires for wealth and education. Wealth and children. All the atheists would laugh at the Vaishnavas. Every evening, Srivas Pandit and his three brothers would loudly chant the names of Hari in their house. On hearing this chanting, the atheists would remark, "What madness! This Brahmana Srivas will ruin this village. The Muslim king is very cruel by nature. If he hears about this Kirtana, the whole district will suffer." Someone else said, "I will drive this Brahmana out of town, break his house, and throw it in the Ganges. If we get rid of this Brahmana, then it will be good for the village. Otherwise, the Yavanas will take over the town." Hearing the atheists speak in that way, the devotees began to cry and chant Krishna's name. When Advaita Acharya heard these things, he became as angry as fire. Neglecting whether he was dressed properly or not, he spoke to all the Vaishnavas. "Listen, Srivas, Gangadas, and Shuklambara, I will make Krishna descend for all to see. He will personally come and deliver one and all by preaching devotional service with your help." Not only were general people not wanting to become Krishna conscious, people were also wanting to trouble the devotees, which is when Advaita Acharya became very angry, and he now decided to make Krishna himself descend. And he's saying, "If I fail to do this, then I will manifest 4 arms and take up my disc," because Advaita Acharya was none other than Mahavishnu. He is an incarnation, or he's an Amsha. He's a part of Mahavishnu who actually takes care of creation. So he is Vishnu himself. So he can himself, call for the Sudarshan Chakra. He says, I will sever the heads of the atheists, and then it will be confirmed that Krishna is my Lord and I'm his servant. See, and being Mahavishnu's Amsha, he is not thinking about himself as the Supreme Lord. He's thinking about himself as the servant of Krishna. When such great personalities themselves, like yesterday I was explaining, even Radharani just thinks that she's the servant of Krishna. But we are here in this material world trying to enjoy independent of Krishna. What fallen state. In this way, Sri Advaita Acharya constantly worshipped the lotus feet of Krishna with great determination. The other devotees also shed tears as they all constantly worshipped Krishna with fixed determination. As the devotees wandered throughout Navadvipa, they never heard any topics concerning devotional service. Seeing the people's pathetic condition, some of the devotees wanted to give up their bodies, while other devotees sighed deeply as they called out the name of Krishna and cried. See, really, again, high class compassion. They're feeling helpless that they're not able to do anything. So they're thinking, we'll give up our bodies. What is the point in living like this in a place where nobody is taking Krishna's name and we're all not able to preach, we're not able to change them? No point. The devotees became so unhappy by seeing people's behavior that they lost their desire to eat. Okay. By the way, so I request all the devotees to not imitate this, any of this, even if you are not able to preach, even if you have atheistic people around you, wait for mercy, pray, do what Advaita Acharya did. By the order of the Lord, Sri Nityananda Ram, who is non-different from Ananta, first appeared in Radha Desha. So now all the devotees appeared. Now time for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to appear. Now the other Nityananda Prabhu appeared. So Nityananda Prabhu appeared from the womb of Padmavati in the village of Ekachakra on the auspicious 13th day, Trayodashi of the waxing moon in the month of Magha. The Lord, the original father of everyone, accepted Hadai Pandit, the king of the Brahmanas, as his father. Lord Balarama is an ocean of mercy and the bestower of devotional service. He appeared as Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Invisible to humans, the demigods loudly chanted Jai, Jai, and showered flowers. From that day on, the district of Radha Desha became filled with prosperity. To deliver the fallen souls, Nityananda Prabhu accepted the dress of a mendicant and traveled throughout the world. This is a description of Lord Ananta's appearance. Now please hear how Krishna made his appearance. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going to appear now. Sri Jagannath Mishra lived in Navadvipa. He was just like Vasudeva and he was expert in following his prescribed duties. He was greatly magnanimous and the best of the Brahmanas. Indeed, I can find no comparison to him. All the good qualities of Kashyapa, Dasharatha, Vasudeva and Nanda Maharaja were found in the person of Jagannath Mishra. So all of these were fathers of other forms of Krishna and Krishna himself. After all, Sachi's daughters expired, the most fortunate Vishwarupa appeared as her son. So Sachi Devi is the wife of Sri Jagannath Mishra. So 8 daughters died. And then Vishwarupa appeared. Sri Vishwarupa was as attractive as Cupid. His mother and father were jubilant upon seeing him. Vishwarupa was detached from the time of his birth, and he realized the purport of the scriptures in his very childhood. As the entire world became devoid of devotion to Lord Vishnu, the future symptoms of Kali began to manifest in the beginning of the age. Whenever there's a decline in the practice of religious principles, the Lord incarnates. Knowing that the devotees were in distress, Lord Gaurachandra Mahaprabhu appeared in the bodies of Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Devi. So please note, while there were so many other reasons for appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the trigger was the distress of his devotees. So that is why, as devotees, when we cry for others, when we pray for others, Krishna shows mercy. We might be very small, we might be nobody, but still Krishna shows mercy. Okay, so we should all preach. We should pray for other devotees. So whenever we are preaching, if we are not able to get in touch with other devotees, if we should feel very anxious, and pray to Krishna, saying that hope that devotee is in good standing, that he or she is chanting, and that is why preaching is a big responsibility, because Krishna mercifully has sent a soul to us so that we can guide that soul. And if we are not able to do justice, then Krishna, it will not make Krishna happy. So we have to be concerned, we have to be compassionate. If we don't have all these qualities, we cannot progress. We cannot become dear to Krishna. Very, very important. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared because of the distress. He could not see the distress of his devotees. Devotees were so unhappy looking at the fallen condition of the world. As Sri Ananta loudly chanted, Jai, Jai, Jagannath Mishra and Sati Devi heard this sound vibration as if it were a dream. So when the Lord appeared in the bodies of Jagannath Mishra and Sati Devi, Ananta, who is the devotee expansion of the Lord, he loudly chanted Jai Jai because he was like very ecstatic. and that was heard by Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Devi. Both husband and wife manifested a brilliant spiritual effulgence which common people could not perceive. Common people could not perceive. Very interesting. Knowing that the Supreme Lord would appear, personalities like Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva came to offer prayers. These topics are the highest confidential truths of the Vedas. Of this, there is no doubt. Now, please hear with devotion the prayers offered by demigods headed by Brahma. By hearing these prayers, one mind becomes attached to Krishna. So, whoever wants to be attached to Krishna, please hear attentively. All glories to Sriman Mahaprabhu, the father of all living entities. All glories to the Supreme Lord who has incarnated to inaugurate the Sankirtana movement. All glories to the protector of Vedic principles, saintly persons, and Brahmanas. All glories to the personification of time, which destroys the non-devotees. All glories to the Supreme Lord, who possesses a pure spiritual body. All glories to the fully independent Supreme Personality of Godhead. You are the shelter of innumerable universes, yet you have entered the womb of Mother Sachi Devi. Who can understand your supreme will? The creation, maintenance, and annihilation of the material world are simply your pastimes. Does any by whose desire the entire creation is destroyed? Does one by whose desire the entire creation is destroyed lack the power to kill Ravana or Kamsa simply by giving an order? Still, you incarnated in the homes of Dasharatha and Vasudeva and personally killed Ravana and Kamsa. Therefore, my Lord, who can understand the cause of your appearance other than you yourself? Brahma is saying this. But we are able to understand the secrets because Srila Prabhupada has revealed all this to us. By your order, each one of your servants can deliver innumerable universes. Still, you incarnate yourself to teach religious principles to all and thus make the earth glorious. Oh, my Lord, in Satyuga, you appear with a white complexion to preach the principles of austerity. By your personal example, you wear a deer skin and carry a danda and water pot, and you wear matted locks of hair. In this way, you incarnate as a brahmachari to establish the principles of religion. You appear in Treta Yuga with a beautiful red complexion. Although you are the Lord of sacrifice, you set the example by engaging in the performance of sacrifice. In Dwapar Yuga, you appear with a transcendental blackish complexion that resembles a monsoon cloud. You preach the process of deity worship from house to house. And you wear yellow cloth and you are decorated with the mark of Shivatsa. As a great king, you personally demonstrate the process of deity worship. So these are all verses from Srimad Bhagavatam. You appear in Kali Yuga as a Brahmana with a golden complexion. Inaugurate the congregational chanting of the holy names, which is hidden in the Vedas. Therefore, you are the source of innumerable incarnations. Who has the ability to enumerate all of them? In the form of Matsya, you enjoy in the waters of annihilation. In the form of Kurma, you are the shelter of all living entities. In the form of Hayagriva, you saved the Vedas by killing the original demons, Madhu and Kaitaba. In the form of Varaha, you delivered the earth. And in the form of Narsimha, you tore apart the demon Hiranyakashipu. In the wonderful form of Vamana, you deceived Bali Maharaja. And in the form of Parashurama, you rid the earth of Kshatriyas. In the form of Ramachandra, you killed Ravana. And in the form of Balarama, you performed innumerable pastimes. In the form of Buddha, you exhibited compassion. And in the form of Kalki, you destroyed the Mlechas. In the form of Dhanvantri, you delivered nectar to the demigods, and in the form of Hamsa, you spoke on the absolute truth to Brahma and others. In the form of Narada, you carry a veena and sing your glories. And in the form of Vyasa, you explain the truth about yourself. In the form of Krishna, your unlimited enchanting Gokula pastimes include those of all other incarnations. In this incarnation as a devotee, you will invest all your transcendental energies in the performance of Kirtana. The whole world will be filled with the sound of Sankirtana, and pure devotional service will be preached in every home. How can we describe the happiness that this earth planet will enjoy when you dance along with your servants? This is the beauty of dancing in Kirtan. The mere presence of those who constantly meditate on your lotus feet vanquishes all inauspiciousness. As such persons dance, The touch of their lotus feet destroys all the inauspiciousness of the world. By their glance, the 10 directions are purified. So devotees should go on Nagar Sankirtan. See, we should learn from all these. Such are your glories, such is the dancing, and such are your servants, that when they dance with their arms raised, this is how we dance. We have to dance with our arms raised. The disturbances in the heavenly planets are destroyed. My dear king, when Krishna's devotees dance in Kirtan, they destroy the inauspiciousness of the earth by the touch of their feet. Okay. You easily, Lord, you easily avoid liberation, but you keep devotional service hidden. We have a desire to attain that devotional service. O Lord, you will freely distribute the treasure of devotional service throughout the world simply by your causeless mercy. You who have now appeared in Navadvipa are the Supreme Lord, by whose holy names bestow the results of all sacrifices. O Lord, please be merciful to us so that we may have the fortune to see your pastimes. Brahma, Shiva, everybody is praying. The long cherished desire of Ganges will now be fulfilled when you sport inner waters. We therefore offer our respectful obeisances to Sri Navadvipa, where the Lord appeared in the house of Sachi Devi and Jagannatha. In this way, the demigods headed by Lord Brahma daily offer prayers in seclusion. The Lord, who is the shelter of all universes, remained in the womb of Sachi Devi until the Falguni Purnima gradually approached. All the auspicious symptoms present throughout unlimited universes appeared together on that full moon night. Thus the Lord simultaneously appeared along with the congregational chanting of the holy names, which he inaugurated on the pretext of a lunar eclipse. Who has the power to understand the activities of the Lord? By his desire, Rahu covered the moon. When the inhabitants of Navadvipa saw the eclipse, they began to chant the auspicious names of Hari, Hari. Millions of people went to take bath in the Ganges while chanting Hari Bol, Hari Bol. The whole of Nadia was filled with the sound vibration of the name of Hari. Indeed, the sound vibration filled the entire universe and beyond. Hearing this wonderful vibration, all the devotees remarked, "Let there be a perpetual eclipse," because they were trying to make people chant and nobody was chanting, nothing was happening, and suddenly there was so much of loud chanting, and the devotees said, "Okay, let this be perpetual." All the devotees said, "From the great happiness that we are feeling today, it can be understood that Krishna must have appeared." As the devotees all went to take bath in the Ganges, the vibrations of the name of Hari was continuously heard from all directions. Whether one was young, old, woman, pious or impious, everyone was engaged in chanting the name of Hari while observing the eclipse. All could hear is Hari Bol, Hari Bol. That the name of Lord Hari was heard throughout the entire universe. The demigod showered flowers in all directions, and they played kettle drums as they chanted Jai, Jai. At that very moment, the life of all living entities, Sri Sachinandana, made his appearance. When the moon was covered by Rahu, when the ocean of the holy names was manifest, when Kali was subdued, and when the flag of victory was raised, at that time the Supreme Lord appeared, and the 14 worlds filled with the sound of Jai, Jai. The happiness of the people of Nadia daily increased, and their lamentation was vanquished as they saw the moon like Lord Gauranga. Kettle drums were sounded, hundreds of conch shells were blown, and flutes and horns were played. In this way, Vrindavana Das Thakur sings the glories of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Nityananda Prabhu. The Lord's beautiful bodily features cannot be perceived, for they outshine the rays of the sun. His broad eyes, which are upturned at the ends, have no comparison. Upon the appearance of Sri Gauranga in this world, the sound vibration of Hari's name spread throughout the universe up to Brahmaloka. The Lord's broad chest is smeared with bright sandalwood pulp and decorated with a flower garland. The Lord's sweet face is as soothing as the full moon, and his long arms extend to his knees. We discussed this on the first day. All the living entities of the world are blessed to Sri Chaitanya. Some dance, some chant, and some loudly explain Jai Jai. Kali, however, feels sad and laments. Sri Chaitanya is the crown on the head of the four Vedas, but sinful and foolish people cannot understand this. Sri Vrindavana Das Thakur sings the glories of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Nityananda Prabhu. As Sri Gaurachandra appeared, the 10 directions became filled with bliss. The Lord's beauty defeats that of millions of cupids. He laughs upon hearing his holy names chanted. The Lord's face and eyes are most sweet, and his body is decorated with the signs of a king. His lotus feet are marked with a flag and a thunderbolt. All his limbs attract the minds of all people. By his advent, all danger is vanquished and all prosperity is manifested. Hearing that Lord Chaitanya has incarnated, all the demigods became overjoyed. They are overwhelmed with ecstasy on seeing the Lord's face, which destroys all misery. The people of Nadia run in 10 directions while loudly chanting Hari Hari. The demigods and human beings mix together, and the whole of Navadvipa is filled with ecstasy. All the demigods come to the courtyard of Sachidevi and offer their obeisances. Because of the darkness created by the impulse, no one can recognize them. Such are the mysterious pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Gaurahari descended along with his devotees, but the atheists did not understand a thing. Accepting Sri Chaitanya and Nityananda Prabhu as my life and soul, I, Vrindavana Das, sing the glories of their lotus feet. Okay. So this ends his pastime of appearance. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. So it's full of happiness, full of enjoyment, full of singing and dancing. So Gaur Purnima, we have one more day for all of us to build up our consciousness, to welcome Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on this very auspicious day, Friday. So very important. Many other great Vaishnavas will be giving, classes, lectures, etc. So feel free to hear all of them and merge into this happiness of appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Hare Krishna. Okay, so we stop here and